Welcome to another in our series of chats with Graham Phillips, and we're going to find out a little bit about sleep. This is a recent blog a couple of years ago from a man called Tony Robbins, who lectures millions in improving their business performance and how sleeping only 4 hours each night has actually helped him. And we're going to find out whether or not it could help you, or maybe not. The man that's going to help us is of course, Graham Phillips. Hello, Graham. Good to have you back.
Hi, John. How are you?
I am doing very well. I am getting my 8 hours of sleep a night. Had a wonderful deep sleep. Tony Robbins has been making a lot of noise over the last decade or so about how this workaholic lifestyle, working 4 hours of sleep into your life can make you more productive. What's your view?
It's actually, there's this saying, isn't there? There's plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. The trouble is you will be dead. If you would think about what would kill a human being really quickly, not drinking water at all for a week will probably kill you. The next thing that will kill you most rapidly is probably not sleeping. 2 weeks without sleep and you're dead. That's how fundamentally important it is. So he's completely wrong. He's clearly got no understanding of the science.
Okay, so what is the science?
Well, the science is, if you think about from an evolutionary point of view, we're somewhere between 1 million and 2 million years old. So we're really, as I always say, we're cavemen living in a space age. And we've been evolved to sleep. And it's interesting, almost all organisms sleep. Not only do we sleep as an organism, not only do our individual cells sleep, but the organelles within our cells, the parts of our cells also sleep. And to illustrate how important sleep is, for example, if you take a mammal like a whale, whales have to come up and breathe. And if they were sleeping, they would literally drown. So whales sleep with one side of their brain and then the other side of their brain. And same with migratory birds, they take it in turns to sleep with one side of the brain and the other. So this is a really fundamental biological process, sleep. It's fundamental to our well-being. It's a really paramount importance, particularly at the moment with the COVID epidemic, because poor sleep will guarantee to weaken your immune system. And if there's one thing we need right now, it's a strong immune system.
So I have seen in some of the blogs that you've written on the Pro Longevity website that it has some part to play in immunity. Could this actually help us beat coronavirus COVID-19?
Absolutely. If you've got a really strong immune system, you might be lucky and catch the virus but have no symptoms or very minor symptoms, just, mild flu symptoms, mild cold type symptoms. If your immune system is impaired, then the virus can get a hold. And as we know, it's potentially serious and lethal. Your immune system is absolutely key here. And if you want to do one straightforward, simple thing to improve your immune system, literally overnight, it's get those 8 hours of sleep. It really has an effect within 24 hours.
And in terms of people that are trying to burn the candle at both ends, can they catch up on sleep at the weekend?
It's interesting. So it's a myth that you you've got a bank account and you can borrow a bit of sleep, which is what I always used to do as a young man. I used to think, well, as long as I get 6 hours sleep at the weekend and I can sleep no, it doesn't work like that. The body has no adaptation to short sleep. So you can't simply say, well, I'll do 4 hours sleep, and then 12 hours sleep. The body doesn't work like that. You will actually do serious damage to your immune system, to your physical health, your risk of diabetes, of cancer, of dementia. All these fundamental problems build up with short sleep. Do not go there.
Now, you mentioned diabetes. One thing I learned in just literally the first 2 weeks when we did benchmarking was that I was having hypos during night. What role does sleep play in us managing our sugar blood levels?
Huge and fundamental role. So you probably know that you've got two parts to your nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system, that's the flight or fight bit, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which deals with everything else, the vegetative functions. When you're short of sleep, you're running on adrenaline and cortisol, and your body thinks that you're short of food, even though you may not be short of food. The brain, the mechanisms that support the brain, make you feel hungry and short of food. So A, you'll snatch the sort of easiest, least healthy food because it's instant energy. And B, you'll be running on high adrenaline, high cortisol. And basically your body thinks you're about to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, and it chucks a load of blood sugar into your bloodstream so you can fight the tiger that isn't there. Well, we know raised blood sugar, raised insulin, and you're on your way to diabetes.
Okay. And one final thing, just as an experience, because I was one of those people that would work till 2 a.m. and often hit the snack cupboard and the fridge. Is that connected to what you've just said?
It is, because if you go back to the hunter-gatherer, the only time that we voluntarily short slept was when we were underfed. So your ancient mechanisms think that when you're short of sleep, it's because you're starving, and you will literally grab at the first available easy food that you can find. And I know it myself. If I've been on for example, a long plane journey, and you come off and there's a pizza place or a McDonald's or whatever, it's so much harder to resist that kind of instant food. Whereas if I'm feeling good and I've had a decent night's sleep, I walk straight past the McDonald's and I'll have a healthy salad instead. So your body thinks it's starving, it thinks it needs instant energy, and that means the poor quality, high sugar, high carb, appealing processed foods, which do so much damage to our health.
Graham, that's brilliant. I think there's another question I want to ask you, but I think it's a whole new video, and that's the role of alcohol in sleep and curing snoring. So we'll have a little chat about that in our next video, but thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Well, if you've found that really remarkable, considering the information that's pushed out by life coaches that we don't need sleep, and you're interested in knowing more, join Pro Longevity's LinkedIn or Facebook group. Make a connection with Graham. He's always happy to have a chat with you electronically, or even book a one-to-one appointment with him and get a little bit of private consulting, all for free. But for me and Pro Longevity, bye for now.
Bye now.